Howdy. I wanted to share with you an interesting article from the Helsingin Sanomat, the Helsinki News Journal, from yesterday. Vantaa, which is around Helsinki, another town. Finnishness. Yeah, this is translated by Google, so don't blame me for funny translations. Let's see how that goes. Every now and then there are some funny sentences because some AI made a translation for me. The museum revealed that the people of Vantaa from the Stone Age were probably dark-skinned. Some went crazy. Andreas Koivisto, an archaeologist at the Vantaa City Museum, caused a small social media uproar after saying that the early inhabitants of Vantaa were probably dark-skinned. The accompanying painting outlines what the early people of Vantaa might have looked like. It is part of the Ikikallio Stories exhibition, which is currently on display at the Vantaa City Museum. Yeah, this would be probably some interesting stuff to see. Are the researchers green left commies who want to destroy history? No. Maybe some of you have heard about some discontinuities in our history. Let's start from the dinosaurs until the monkeys we are today emerged. But anyway, at the turn of the year there was a small uproar in social media. Yeah, I'm not doing any social media, so I haven't heard about that. Which was related to what the early inhabitants of Vantaa looked like in the Stone Age. Some comments immediately slipped into inappropriateness. Yeah, what else to expect from basic stupid white men? If you are triggered already by now, you probably should go to watch some cat video. But anyway, the starting point is an article from Vantaan Sanomat, the main image of which shows a dark-skinned girl with a dog in her lap on the beach. In the text of the story, archaeologist Andreas Koivisto of the Vantaa City Museum wrote that the early people of Vantaa, who lived around 9,500 years ago, most likely had dark skin and black hair. This information was clearly too much for many commenters. HS Helsingin Sanomat has seen comments under the Facebook update, some of which were openly racist. Some of them questioned, for example, the researcher's professionalism or political orientation. The story garnered more than 100 comments on Vantaa Sanomat's Facebook page. Propaganda. Fake studies, bullshit. Yeah, sorry for using these kind of words, but it's written here. In the end, the comments pondered whether the green left communist researchers really want to destroy history. Archaeologist Koivisto's claim about the early people of Vantaa is not a whim. It is based on DNA studies conducted in Scandinavia, the Baltic countries and Russia, as well as archaeological artifact discoveries made in Finland. By studying the skeletons, it has been possible to find out what color hair, eyes and skin an ancient person had. The researched information suggests that the early people of Vantaa may have had a relatively dark skin color. Koivisto also wrote a blog post about it in mid-January. So that's a rather fresh story. Koivisto tells Helsingin Sanomat that he was not surprised by the reaction his writing caused. He says he was prepared for this kind of feedback. Colleagues had warned me in advance, he says, but he did it. Which is a very brave thing to do. Bring forth the information. Yeah, and I have been thinking already, I think I have to write this guy. I like him. Yeah, this is how it just feels, because he's not afraid of saying the truth. It's your job to adjust to the truth and not vice versa. Otherwise, you live in a dreamland. However, Koivisto wonders where people's strong and even prejudiced attitude to the matter comes from. When he goes around schools talking about the same things, there is no similar reaction among the children. In schools, we can have a really reasonable discussion about the matter. Partially, it may be due to the fact that Vantaa is very multicultural, and that is also visible in the school, he says. On the other hand, according to Koivisto, the topic easily causes shocked reactions in social media. He believes that it stems from the fact that the idea of dark-skinned early Vantans simply does not fit the worldview of many. For Koivisto, this is a funny idea, especially when the people of Vantaa from the Stone Age have almost nothing to do with the generic inheritance of modern Finns. As a result of the cooling of the climate and the migration of peoples, the present-day Finns are mostly inherited from people who arrived here about 2,500 to 3,000 years ago. That is, from the immigrants of that time. Here we are talking about people who lived thousands of years ago, but still it seems to be a hard piece for some people to swallow. According to Koivisto, it is true that no Stone Age human DNA has been isolated from Finland so far. Assumptions about the appearance of early Finns are based on discoveries from other countries. Still, he reminds us that DNA studies conducted in neighboring countries strongly suggest that the first inhabitants of the Finland and Vantaa region were likely to have been largely dark-skinned. Koivisto hopes that people would not start commenting on a matter based on scientific research on the spur of the moment. You should even try to get to know the information and be open to new things. If you wish, you can learn more about the early people of Vantaa in the exhibition in the Vantaa City Museum, which is open until February 25th. The exhibition is based on the children's non-fiction book Ikikallio Stories, published by Andreas Koivisto and Tom Björklund. From mammoths to our time. Now I've been talking about the possibility that the surface conductivity anomaly in Scandinavia might be a perfect example for our magnetosphere collapsing, which would mean that the polar cusps would have touched Earth's surface. In other words, the auroras came down to Earth. There are many stories which are talking about this particular theme. For example, the Kalevala, which is in this case the Oxford version of it, which is rather thick, 700 pages or something. So at the third time he could fell the oak and shatter the world sallow and bring down the 100-leaved. The base he thrust to the east and the top he lowered northwest. This is the surface conductivity anomaly in Scandinavia. Here we have Finland somewhere, then Sweden and Norway out here. East and northwest. The base he thrust to the east, the top he lowered northwest. This correlates very well with the alignment of this surface conductivity anomaly. We also have to remember these other tales where the sun stood still in the heavens, which would mean that Earth's rotation ceased. Earth stopped its rotation. The sun doesn't stop really, or it's not. We are evolving around the sun. So if the sun stands still in the sky, it means that the Earth doesn't spin around its own axis anymore. Maybe that's also related to this geological imprint, the surface conductivity anomaly. And also we have to take into account about the Earth turned over, which is the Tani Bekov or tennis racket effect, which could mean that this place here has been once at the equator. Maybe it's more down here, according to this picture. So maybe back then, when Finland was at the equator, people had a different skin color. Maybe. And since we have this kind of historical tales about the Earth turned over, that's probably where the floods are coming from, basically, because Earth stops and the water just continues its what is it? The water just continues because it's not fixed. But if the Earth stands still, the water will continue to flow. You know, just take a bucket and try the same. And it will flush all over the continents. Or if it turns over, this could also create massive floods. All the oceans would gush all over land. Yeah, some survived it, most didn't. But anyway, I just thought I'd share with you this very interesting article. And yeah, I leave it up to you. Make your own thoughts about that. I think it's very interesting. Very interesting. Thank you. Bye.